this demo, I'm connecting to the Leonovus instance of Storage Made Easy File Fabric with a 35-person organization. I'll log in as the admin, username and password. This could be tied to my ID provider, such as LDAP, AD, or SAML, and two-factor authentication is also supported. I'm actually logging in as a tenant. The solution is deployed as multi-tenant software appliance on-premise, in the cloud, or as a managed service. I'm logging here into the home page as a starting point, which lists the major tasks available based on my permissions, and it's also customizable. I'm going to jump into the provider dashboard. As an admin, this is where I'll manage connectors to different storage providers. File Fabric supports many types of storage providers and cloud applications, including object storage, traditional file systems such as NFS and CIFS, as well as FTP and public clouds. You can see here where we've set up the Leonovus provider as an S3 compatible storage. Individuals can also add their own private accounts. This is a great way of adding corporate oversight to work sharing, in particular from personal accounts, as well as making it easier to migrate data between services. You can see here Mark has an FTP account set up. I'm going to add a new provider. It could be a primary or a backup provider. A backup provider replicates a primary provider. It transparently replicates changes. It can be completely different vendor or technology, not to mention data center. And you can also choose whether to replicate deletes. We're going to set up a primary for Google Drive. Let's call that, actually that's fine, let's just call it My Google Drives. We'll authorize access. Get OAuth permission. So what the File Fabric is doing now, it's going out and pulling in object metadata from Google Drive. The source objects and file names aren't touched or changed, but we're bringing in the metadata in order to present a file system view. You can see here where the synchronization is running. If we have a cloud provider or provider where data is being changed externally, typically by applications, then we can resynchronize, or we can have the synchronization run at a regular interval. Once SME has indexed the source data, it can be presented as files and folders. We can access this information through desktop apps, mobile clients, and mounted drives, for example. The Cloud File Manager provides a human-friendly view into the Leonovus cloud storage. Leonovus, of course, uses application-friendly APIs. It uses the same APIs as Amazon S3, so applications that can leverage S3 can also use Leonovus storage. What we're doing here with File Fabric is mapping the file operations and semantics for humans into the S3 compatible operations supported by Leonovus, the software-defined storage. Leonovus in turn, of course, encrypts, slices, and distributes the objects into reconstitutable data nuggets. Creating a folder at the provider or the root level creates a bucket. Let's create a folder called Marketing. We can upload files or drag and drop. So we'll do that now. I have some samples here. So through the Cloud File Manager, File Fabric is uploading these files straight through to Leonovus storage, updating or keeping track only of the metadata. We have a number of features we can access here from the file view. Let's wait till we see a okay, so let's from this view we can look at a preview of the file. We can also look at the metadata, the properties of the file, such as when it was uploaded to the cloud, when it was uploaded through File Fabric, when it was last accessed, and also, if available, where physically the file has been stored or uploaded through. We can also add comments. The comments are stored with the metadata in FileFabric, and they're available through other applications as well. When we upload another copy of the same file, another version, FileFabric can keep track of different versions. This is a great mechanism for making sure information isn't accidentally deleted. We can go to a version of the file and make the version current to essentially roll back. We also have the ability to delete files and folders. By default, there's a trash, so files are not permanently deleted until the trash is emptied. And that can also be an administration-only option. Again, another way of preventing accidental erasure of files. We can also copy and move information through different files, and in particular, this is a great way to move information between storage providers or cloud providers. The file and folder view is also visible through a file system on Linux, Mac, and shown here on Windows. We mount the cloud drive on the S drive, and we can navigate through the folders. Only the stubs are downloaded, the icons and information about the files. It's not until we actually open up a document or try to access the file that the file is downloaded. Here we've pulled the file into Word. We also have a Cloud Actions menu where we can pull in any comments, any metadata that's been associated with the document. In fact, if we don't have a cloud drive, we can also open or we don't have a cloud drive installed, we can also directly from Office applications, Excel, PowerPoint, and Word, access files online. And what's cool, of course, when changes are made and saved, that update is automatically sent through FileFabric back to the Leonovus storage for safekeeping. We can just do a refresh here. A refreshes the browser window from the information, the metadata. Let's look at permissions. We have another user here called Mark in marketing, and he's logged in here in this browsing window. You can see that his marketing videos are shown from his private FTP account, as well as other folders that admin has allowed him to access. They're in grey because he has read-only permission. Let's jump back to the admin. We're going to mark the folder as a shared team folder, which will allow us to apply permissions. What we'll do is apply permissions. Actually, we'll just do default permissions, which means that they are inherited by the children as well. We're going to add the marketing role. We can also add users as well as roles and groups. We'll give read, write, and upload permission. Once we applied that to the marketing folder, we'll go back to Mark's window, do a quick refresh. And now we can see the marketing folder, which we just created, is now visible for Mark. And he can interact with that information. Let's now look at sharing. How do I share files with other users in the company or even external parties? We can share with groups and individuals within the company. We can make public if we grant that permission to our employees, or we can create a share link. We can see here we have an option to expire the link after 11 days. That's been preset by our administrator. We could also choose to limit the number of downloads, a setting that also can be limited by the administrator. I'll set a password. Let's say we'll use the password, and then we can generate a link. If we like, we could generate a link using a tinyurl or another shortened URL shortening service. So let's copy that, and let's open up an incognito window. Paste the URL. Prompted for the password, and now we have the ability to download the file. We also can send a link by email directly from within the Cloud File Manager. An important aspect of building a secure system is an audit trail. We can see here an audit trail of activity we've made, both initiated by an end user and also, if appropriate, initiated by an application or background tasks. Things like synchronization, especially. We can also call out the shared links and look at them in particular. This gives us the ability to see whether the links have been used, how long they expire, and we can also withdraw permission by deleting the links. Let's look at policies. It gives an example of some of the organizational specific policies around security. We can restrict what features are visible to users. We can restrict what private clouds they could add, for example, based on, again, organizational or regulatory requirements. We have a number of options around file sharing. We saw earlier that we've limited the expiry time or set the expiry time of links rather to 11 days. We could also set the download limit. We have a number of facilities for determining encryption at rest and in flight, and password management. We have the ability to set encryption phrase for any files that are uploaded for highly sensitive environments, and then support for things like versioning, which can protect accidental deletion. Another really useful feature is Audit Watch. Audit Watch gives us the ability to monitor specific folders. We can create an expression to watch for particular file names, or monitor for particular events such as a download or an upload. And then we can create custom messages to the users and groups.